For 8 years now, journalists have been risking their lives to bring clarity out of the fog of war in Afghanistan. Tonight, we give the final words of this broadcast to the men and women of CBS News who have experienced the war up close.
I've been to a lot of bad neighborhoods for CBS News. There's no neighborhood worse than Afghanistan. Go, go, go! I'm Byron Pitts, Chief National Correspondent for CBS News, contributing correspondent to 60 Minutes. I've been to Afghanistan twice, spent about a month and a half there. I was there in November of 2001, just a few months after 9/11. And I was traveling with a team of folk from CBS News, and we catch up with a warlord. And he tells us with a big smile on his face that he had just killed about 12 to 20 Taliban.
Yes, yes.
And I said, well, how can you be so certain of the exact number of people you just killed? He says, oh, I know, because they were laying in a ditch, and I ran them over. And I counted them as I ran them over.
In 2003, on the Pakistani border, our convoy hit a double anti-tank mine, and the soldier next to me lost his leg. I'm Lara Logan. I'm the Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent for CBS Evening News and a correspondent for 60 Minutes. I remember everything going completely white and hearing my cameraman producer Jeff Newton, who had landed right on top of me and actually was this far from my face, screaming my name, but I couldn't hear it. To me, it was in the distance. And he was looking at me, and my eyes were wide open and blood was pouring out of my mouth. And the sergeant turned to him and said, is she all right? And he said, no, I think she's dead. And I remember thinking, oh my God, they're going to leave me here to die because they think I'm already dead.
Hurry up! Mitchell, here first, Sergeant.
I'm Scott Pelley, a correspondent on 60 Minutes, and I've been to Afghanistan about 5 times.
I'm Henry Schuster. I'm a producer for 60 Minutes. I've been to Afghanistan a number of times. Most recently, it was last month for 3 weeks.
We were in a field expedient battlefield memorial for 7 Marines in one company who'd been killed since the assault began in July. Arrayed in front of the Marines, there are 7 battlefield crosses, which is a pair of boots, a rifle, and a helmet on top with the dog tags of the deceased Marines.
The first sergeant does a roll call.
Garner! Here first, Sergeant!
He calls a couple of names. They answer present. Then he starts calling the names of the dead Marines. He calls the name first at a normal tone of voice. No answer. He calls it again, louder this time. No answer. The third time he calls it, there's a great deal of urgency, and he's practically shouting, as you would expect a Marine sergeant to do. And the silence is overwhelming.
We were on a convoy for 2 days. It was terrifying. My name's Tom Anderson. I'm a producer on 60 Minutes. The bombs, which are the primary weapon in this war, go off on the side of the roads. So you're always looking out the side of the road rather than the front of the road.
We still have those tires flying around overhead.
And it would happen once, and then it would happen a second time, happen a third time, boom, boom, 4 times, 5 times. I'm not sure I'd ever want to do it again.
The enemy seems to be moving around a lot, and each time I go to Afghanistan, it seems like it's more dangerous. There's always this sense that something could be around the corner. There was a governor who had survived 3 assassination attempts, and I asked him, why do you do what you do? Why do you continue to do it? He has a family. And he said, if I didn't do it, who would? I would definitely go back to Afghanistan. I'm very eager to go back to Afghanistan. I'm very anxious to see how the military is planning on winning this war. I do think it's a story that's going to continue to unfold for years.
This country is medieval.
I'm David Martin. I'm the CBS News national security correspondent.
I'm Mary Walsh. I am the Pentagon producer for CBS News. We went into a small village called Yagukala with American troops. They had brought with them backpacks for the children.
It immediately turned into a fight because there were more kids than there were book bags to go around, and the village elders were literally beating the kids away.
Sure enough, all the backpacks were going to the boys until the very last backpack was handed out. And one little girl grabbed it and went running as hard as she could. It was just one of those very, very sad, eye-opening experiences of seeing how even good intentions, sometimes don't go far enough.